Dr. Dino, or Big Dino, or how do you pronounce it, Kent?
If you want to help, call 855-BIG-DINO.
Ah, yes, thank you. Dr. Dino is back, and it seems he's having to make some money because some of his diggers got stuck in the mud. A strange thing to happen to someone that's trying to promote a god's work. Rather weird the god would stop some diggers when all Kent is trying to do is show how real the god is. Maybe he needs to whack one of the biggest atheist content creators there is to draw in a crowd and raise some funds. Hello, I'm the Skeptic, the British floating circle that watches people make extraordinary claims and then explain why I don't accept what they're saying. Our favourite creationist, and I mean that sarcastically, is back trying to raise funds for some stuck diggers. With his 215,000 subscribers, you'd think that would be an easy task. But when you get fewer than 0.2% views compared to subscriber count, it's going to take a really long time. So maybe that's why he's taking on a creator with 2 million subscribers. But before we see a self-certified doctor explain why an actual professor of chemistry has no idea what he's talking about. Yeah, right. If this isn't your first Skeptic video, hit the like, the subscribe and the bell, and let's see if we can get more views than Kent has subscribers. And a super thanks to those that hit super thanks over the last few videos. That Gut 2375, District Driver, Tabor Turtle, Eric Hamion, Mark D 5511 and Travis W 888. Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe bestows leaves upon you. More hen. So, let's go, Kent. What's wrong with a scientific explanation of the origin of life?
Tonight, we're going to whack Professor Dave. Let me see. I did all this before.
Professor Dave looks different, almost slightly Welsh. All right there, Creaky, how's it going? Tidy?
It's been a busy day. Oh, I did all that. Let's see. It's in there twice. Never mind. Ignore this. Okay. Come visit Dinosaur Adventureland right off I-65. Whack, whack, whack a Kent. Well, you go ahead, buddy. You bring your Patrick along and debate me again anytime. Let's see. Where is... Oh, no atheists are harmed, by the way, while we make the video.
Of course not. It's hard to harm someone with silly arguments.
I just do it for so much fun, trying to wake them up before it's too late. So, Professor Dave, where does he go? Right here. Right. The winner is Professor Dave. I said for the last time, for a while, well, that was a short while. Somebody's got to get it. He said so many things that are wrong. He needs to be corrected. I've been busy, and this is the easy topic for tonight. He made a video recently, I think, I don't know, I don't keep track of all that, about James Tour, who teaches in Houston. I called Dr. Tour today, asked him to be on tonight. He didn't want to, but Dave thinks he's related to a strawberry. I believe him.
I hate to be the one to point this out, but who's the one wearing red?
Here is the video that he made about Professor James Tour, who's a young Earth creationist, and is talking. They've been arguing about the origin of life. How did life get started? Claims they've got all the science experiments to prove life could have made itself. Really? Let's let Dave talk here, if I got the right one.
Hey everyone, it's been quite some time since my two-part series demolishing every last one of James Tour's ridiculous talking points aimed at discrediting the entire field of origin of life research. But it seems like Jimbo didn't learn his lesson because he's been making a lot of noise on this topic as of late. Let's do a little recap. After my response, James must have been in a pretty dark place because his first move was to sanction this hit piece on me and pay to run it as an ad before my own videos debunking him. It was really pathetic. Of course, it's not running anymore. Lots of people caught it at the time and were quick to inform me of the hilarity. Instead of actually addressing my content and the 50-plus publications I referenced, it just plays footage from a video freely available on my channel explaining my academic and professional background, with cute little sound effects added to why that not having a doctorate or being a researcher somehow disqualifies me from explaining science.
No, Dave. You call yourself Professor Dave. Are you a professor? You don't have a doctor's degree. You're not a professor anywhere. Get a real name, okay?
I dropped out in my second semester. I wanted to move up to San Francisco and play music. What's that called again? Oh, right, ad hominem, the thing he pretends I'm doing when I prove him wrong with facts.
That's all you do, Dave, is ad hominem against me. Let's stick with truth and schedule a debate. Where is the evidence for evolution? There is none. All you have is ad hominem.
Sometimes ad hominem is fun because it makes you feel better. But didn't you just insult Dave by saying he thinks he's related to a strawberry?
Listen to, you called me a sleazy, slimy car salesman and a tax protester. Dave, you're a liar and a hypocrite. You're the one doing the ad hominem, Anyway, go ahead, James.
And this came along with a desperate ploy for a debate, because that's totally what scientists do.
Asking if you would be willing to have, a debate. We can do something here at the university. I'll get a lecture hall. I'd love to get together with him. We'll have a live stream.
Now, of course, rather than contacting me directly with this idea, he chose to announce it on some loser nobody apologist and let it simmer. But even more hilarious is this absolutely transparent, good Christian spectacle. James tries so hard to appear like a nice, calm guy, when in actuality he's boiling with rage.
But to some who put out YouTube videos, this is very, very simple. How do you just say synthesis? Show me. You got a reference on that? Do you have a reference on that? He seems like a fine young man.
Oh, the two...
I'll tell you what, Randall, go through some of Professor Dave's videos and find him ranting and raving over dumb stuff like this. We can put an hour clip out on you, Dave, do the same thing. That's a distraction from the point, though. There is no evidence for how life got started without a designer. None. I'll show you in a minute, all right?
Well, I mean, you're only a couple of minutes into the video, Kent. There might be that information coming.
Two faces of your typical Christian fundamentalist.
Isn't everything you're doing right now, Dave, ad hominem against Professor Tour? Everything you're doing right now. Listen to yourself, Dave. Listen.
But ultimately, this clamor for debate is what creationist preachers do. Science is settled in the primary literature, an avenue James will never, ever take for this topic because he knows he's lying. It's desperate pageantry, grandstanding for his idiot followers who just want him to be right.
Wait a minute. For his idiot followers. Is that an ad hominem, Dave?
Kent suddenly loves the words ad and hominem.
Won't lift a finger to learn enough to understand anything he's saying, let alone find the courage to watch a single second of my content exposing him. Much like this cackling moron from Jim's famous...
There you go again. Who does the ad hominem, Dave?
Sermon where he slandered Nobel Prize winner Jack Shostak.
Nudged along by dynamic forces in the environment.
Huh?
He's lying to you. You got an ordinary nucleotide. But the problem is that's not a nucleotide. It's the wrong structure.
This woman is the perfect representation of Tor's acolytes. She doesn't understand a word he's saying, but she loves every last drop. Now, you might...
Wait. Dave, you're assuming everybody in that audience didn't understand a word he's saying and loved every last drop. You think you got a corner on science. You're the only one who understands any science, aren't you, Dave? You believe you came from a rock, for heaven's sake, and you're related to a strawberry. Dave, you don't understand science, but that's okay. We're going to help you tonight, or try, okay?
Misrepresenting. What seems to be Kent's favourite game. Dave didn't say anything about people. He pointed out one woman who had the giggle fits at what Jimothy was saying, and Jim himself didn't understand. The huh gave that away.
Huh? I think that behind the scenes, James was preparing a stunning rebuttal to my evisceration, biding his time until he was ready to speak again. What was his next move? Wow, look at this, a 9-hour course on abiogenesis.
Abiogenesis is how life got started from non-living material. Bunch of chemicals in a warm little pond or something, okay?
And your creationist friend made a video about it. Why don't you refute that instead of listening to Dave attacking your colleague? I mean, I can't be bothered to listen to 9+ hours of a creationist saying an undemonstrated God did it with zero credible evidence for the God.
Of course, this is just his pathetic 14-part series, all lumped together in one agonizing dumpster fire of a single video. But hilariously, his followers don't notice at all and think it's new content. Here they are claiming James has done it again. You have to love the complete oblivion they display.
We'll talk about oblivion in a minute, Dave. There is no possible way life got started without a designer. You're the one living in oblivion, Dave, but that's okay.
Proving that they don't even watch his content, much less mine. But don't worry, he eventually got around to something new. Wow, what's this piece from October? We've been deceived. Dr. Tour exposes the false science behind origin of life research. Do you think he responds to anything I said to expose his lies? Let's take a peek. This is starting from the very first second of the video.
You think you've been taught things that aren't quite right? This whole thing about molecules in a puddle or in a pond, lightning strikes, molecules form. Those molecules form into slithering creatures and they come out of this pond. That's the primordial soup model. It's a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah, this moronic straw man is what he chose to open with. He is making it abundantly clear who his audience is. Science-illiterate creationist sheep.
There you go. Dave, you don't have any proof of that at all. Why would you say such a thing? Dave, do you ever stop and think of what you say before you talk?
Maybe take your own advice every once in a while.
Simplified, what you guys really do believe. Life had to get started, crawled up out of the pond somehow, or maybe over millions of... Watch, Dave will add millions of years to solve the problem, okay? To hide it in obscurity. Watch, he's about to do it.
James previously made 9 hours of content pretending to pick apart the RNA world hypothesis as the cornerstone of origin of life research. So why would he open this sermon by insisting that the primordial soup model, which these days is something that pretty much only creationists say?
It might be something only creationists say, because your evolutionists realize that's all you got, and it's dumb.
This isn't the gotcha you think it is, Hovind. Only creationists make a dumb point of saying primordial soup.
Real dumb. I'll show you. Dozens of articles, brand new articles, are saying we came from the soup. How many have seen me show those before? It rained on the rocks for millions of years, turned them into soup, and the soup came alive.
I think we've all seen those creationist explanation stories.
You do believe that, Dave. I know you're embarrassed by that, and you should be, because it's stupid.
Involves molecules in water struck by lightning and then creatures slithering out. Why would he skip all of the complex chemistry he pretends only he understands, and the billion years of prokaryotic evolution, and further billion years of eukaryotic unicellular evolution?
There you go. Where's the scientific evidence for either, Dave? Would you all standing for truth and schedule a debate? Show me the scientific evidence for prokaryotic or eukaryotic evolution step by step. There is no evidence of any life forming in a warm little pond and then of it ever changing to anything else. There's no evidence for this at all.
And what we have here is the creationists' version of sticking your fingers in your ears and going la 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 la. Kent has been on countless debates where he's shown these things and he just says, no, you're wrong, that's stupid. And this is why no one wants to seriously debate him, because he's a waste of time. His whole argument is a lack of his understanding and then projecting stupidity.
You have a religion, Dave, you should admit it. But you added billions of years. That's your solution to everything. Bad time.
And further 250 million years of oceanic multicellular evolution, and jump straight to slithering land creatures. Because he's a fraud. He is openly declaring that he is not interested in a real scientific conversation.
Ad hominem, Dave.
That's why this sermon is being given not in front of scientists or even science students, but a Christian ministry.
You mean there's not allowed to be scientists or science students in a Christian ministry? Is that what you're implying, Dave?
It's more because he's preaching to the already converted, which is pointless.
They're the only people ideologically motivated and willfully ignorant enough to lap up this tripe.
There you go. Assuming everybody in the audience is ignorant. Dave, go look in the mirror, son.
Of course. Exactly how you'd expect an audience that already believes what you do to respond.
Ratio Christi is a Christian ministry here that likes to tackle the big questions of life. Why are we here? Does God exist? Is the Bible true?
That's right, the big questions, but only with speakers who tell them the answers they want to hear. The lies they want to hear.
Oh, good. Well, James, if you're so open-minded, why don't you have me on your channel? Let me tell my side on your channel. Or do you only tell them the lies you want?
And Kent spends so little time concentrating and figuring out how he's getting his next dig in that he doesn't even realise he wants to debate James now rather than Dave. Bless his heart. I do hope we get some origin of life stuff soon.
Let's go, James. There's not a single person in the room who knows what you're talking about.
There you go again. You didn't even see a picture of the crowd, let alone talk to the people in the crowd. You're the only one that knows what science is, aren't you, Dave? Oh, yeah.
Or how you're lying to them, so the floor is yours.
So when people say that Tour uses God of these arguments, or Tour has to bring God into this, or Tour has to bring in miracles into this, they're wrong.
Whoa, easy, slugger. No one says you explicitly bring up God or religion when you talk about this topic. The point is that you lie about science because of your religion.
Dave, that is a lie. Show me where he lied. Show me where I have lied. I can show you where you have lied. You claim all kinds of things. You show the family trees of everything coming from a single-celled creature. That's a lie. That's not part of science. That's a religion, Dave.
And that in itself is a lie, Kent. The model exists, you just don't accept it because maybe A, you don't understand it, or B, secretly you do understand it, but because you've committed yourself to this ridiculous narrative of the Earth being 6,000 years old, and that's how you make your money, you have to say, all the science is wrong. Here's how it works from my point of view, despite the evidence you have only being convincing to you and other people who already believe an undemonstrated God did all this. There is something you could do. You could really try and get a real award for your scientific discoveries instead of just calling people names on the internet because they don't accept your very silly claims.
That's why you only talk in front of ultra-religious people, because they don't know you're lying and pretend that your lies embolden their faith.
There you go, assuming everything about the audience, which you know nothing about.
It's not any different on your channel, as pretty much every positive comment might as well be from the Jesus fan club. Importantly, whether you admit it or not, you absolutely do imply intelligent design at every turn.
Dave, if I want you to explain this ink pen without using a man or a designer as your answer, what would you do? Could you give me a naturalistic explanation for an ink pen, Dave? How about a piece of paper? Pink. Can you give me a naturalistic? No, there's a designer of a piece of paper.
Maybe if ink pens and pink pieces of paper occurred naturally and weren't demonstrably created. Why do creationists think this is a good argument?
There's no way to design life or this world without, no way to explain it without a designer. So you're implying that if somebody believes there's a, they're not intelligent. You're wrong.
Yeah, great argument. Just saying you're wrong, that's not how to do it. Just because you don't accept that the cosmos had no designer, it doesn't mean it did. The evidence for a god designing stuff is so weak that it isn't acceptable as proof of a designer. But if you really think it, find a way to convince someone who doesn't believe, not the simple stuff you use that confirms your already out there bias.
And I'll debate you anytime.
Every time you say molecules never move towards life, or nothing happens spontaneously, you are denying science and clearly invoking a design.
Oh, so Dave, are you claiming that molecules move toward life? That. I'll show you in a minute. You're lying, Dave.
Which is the God you believe in. You believe so blindly that you can't even hear yourself talking. But continue.
So if you think that I am being hard on people, trust me, I am an angel compared to the way that they treat me.
Me too, Dave. The way you guys, the way I treat you, is nothing compared to the way all the atheists treat me. Randy, how many anti-Hovind websites are there and YouTube channels? And I got death threats today. They hate me. That's okay. I'm bulletproof. I got angels protecting me. If God wants me out, he'll let me go. What are you going to do? Threaten me with heaven? Wow.
Sure, if there is a heaven, which also has never been demonstrated, you're definitely going there. And if a god thinks it's your time to go, what kind of an evil, equally as undemonstrated as heaven, Skyman gets to decide when you live or die? That's just awful. No thanks. At least Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe, leaf be upon her, doesn't decide stuff like that. If you believe in her and you die, that's on you. Especially if you're asking for angels to protect you from bullets.
Oh, poor James. You lie through your teeth and slam at researchers, and then when you get exposed for it, you play the victim.
That's what you're going to do in a few minutes, Dave, when I tell you how you're lying through your teeth, okay?
I wish it hadn't taken him almost 15 minutes to get to that. Maybe I'll skip ahead.
Physical chemical continuum. You just think it goes from chemistry, from basic molecules, right up on into life with billions of years. Okay, Dave, I'll show you briefly one point here tonight, and then we'll have to tackle you another night. Give you, let's see, where'd they go? Like an atheist, right here. The origin of life. I have said for many years, the word evolution is a slippery word. It has at least 6 different levels or stages to it. Start off with cosmic evolution. Where did time come from? Where did space come from? Where did matter come from? Where did energy come from? Where did the laws come from? Then you have to have chemical evolution. You think the Big Bang produced hydrogen? Dave, you're really good at teaching chemistry. Do you believe silver, platinum, and gold came from hydrogen and lithium gas? Hydrogen and helium and lithium? Why don't you make some gold for me in the laboratory out of hydrogen, Dave? I'd like to see that.
I mean, technically you could, but it would cost a fortune as you'd need nuclear reactions. Maybe if you asked for donations for that, Kent, folks would be more willing to donate, as it'd be far more interesting than some plastic dinosaurs that you're likely to put in once those diggers are free.
Nobody can do it. You say, well, it has to have a lot of pressure. Well, who made gravity? Who made the matter to produce this pressure? So you guys want to skip over these first 3 steps for sure.
There's no skipping over. It is okay to say, I don't know, and then keep searching. What's not okay is to just say, a God that hasn't ever been proven to exist did it, because that's just lazy. And then you end up believing any old nonsense.
And your argument with James Stewart is about number 4, organic evolution, the origin of life. What is organic theory of evolution? Well, the theories of organic evolution explains convincing the origin of life. Oh, okay. Theory of organic evolution. How did life get started? A new theory of organic evolution. Oh, in nature.com. Let's see. Theories of organic evolution, theory of organic evolution. Somehow, somewhere, life has to get started.
I don't know how pointing out that you Google searched a couple of words demonstrates anything. But whatever.
I think we could all agree there are things that are alive on the earth. Could we all agree that, okay? How did it get started?
Great question, Kent. How did it get started? Let's research that.
I know you're related. You think you're related to a strawberry, Dave. I meant to bring a bowl of strawberries here. I was going to eat one of your grandparents right in front of you. Yeah, okay. Nobody knows how a mixture of lifeless chemicals spontaneously organize themselves into a living cell.
And so they're checking it out. Okay, we're getting somewhere.
And they'll say, well, that's 20 years ago. Oh, you think it's better now, Dave? It's worse now. Primordial soup. Let's see. A term introduced by Oparin, a Soviet biologist, 1924. He proposed the theory of the origin of life during the gradual chemical evolution of particles that contain carbon in the primordial soup. Oh, we came from the soup. Okay.
Almost 100 years ago. Okay.
Scientists create synthetic cell that grows and divides. 2021. That's just last year, Dave. This was the first organism in the history of life on Earth to have an entirely synthetic genome. Whoa. They've been working to strip that organism down to its minimum genetic content. Let's see. Hold it. Scientists created it. They've been working on it for a long time. They created it. It's got 4 base pairs. Let's see. A cell they created. Listen, if a bunch of scientists have to create it in the laboratory, that's not evidence it happened by itself in the wild, is it? Scientists create artificial life. Scientists create artificial cell. Scientists create the first synthetic cell.
And it also says synthetic, that imitates the natural. Do you think it might be a good way of finding out what it would have taken for it to happen naturally? You just pointing out a word that's being used doesn't mean that natural stuff was created.
Many scientists believe RNA, or something similar to RNA, was the first molecule on Earth to self-replicate. Oh, RNA, ribonucleic acid. Let's see. So you think it started that way, don't you, Dave? Let's see. A major difference between DNA and RNA could explain why one is the go-to blueprint for life. Blueprint. Well, that's a word engineers use, isn't it?
It's also just a word that people understand, so you can instantly attribute it to something. You don't have to take things so literally, Kent.
Yeah, okay. Primordial soup. Let's see. The origin of life. You have a better theory, Dave, other than the warm little pond? Primordial soup from Wikipedia. Robert Shapiro summarized the primordial soup. Early Earth had a chemically reducing atmosphere. Why is that important, Dave? Can't have oxygen, can you? Because it'll oxidize whatever gets started. You know chemistry, Dave. Come on. Explain why you think it had a reducing atmosphere.
I have no idea what this has to do with anything. Is there going to be a point where he points out a god and where she's been hiding all this time?
Oh, anyway, let's see. This atmosphere exposed to energy in various forms. Where'd the energy come from? Where did energy come from?
He asks so many great questions, but you just know he's going to say, a god did it. Well, good on you, Brahma, for making energy and gold and pink paper. It's a great story, but isn't it a bit silly to say that a god made everything from nothing and then needed dirt to make a human man and one of the man's ribs to make a woman and then needed to impregnate a teenager just so it could have a son? I'm sorry, Kent. Dave didn't get whacked here. It's not really a whacking if you just shout, "No, you're wrong," and then don't back it up with anything substantial as to why. But maybe you think different. Did Kent whack the crap out of Professor Dave? Let me know in the section below. I'm going to skeptic this as another non-believer escaping a metaphorical beating. A big thank you to this month's top level ticks on Patreon: Addy Rockart, the Enixes, Elizabeth, Jakari, 1080 Pete, Mark, and the absolute lunatics Jimmy and Travis, as well as all the $3 base ticks. You can become a supporter on Patreon too at patreon.com/theskeptic. The link is in the description, along with links to all my other socials. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. From me, the Skeptic, stay safe, keep thinking logically, and ask questions. Skepticism is the first step towards truth. See you next Saturday.